Hi everyone. Before we begin, I needed to let everyone know that recently someone has been posting a lot of older Ginga tournament games on Shogi DB2. If you use this site, you should keep in mind that people from all over put up games there and sometimes there's inaccuracies in the game scores, incorrect names, dates, tournaments, moves, etc. So you need to be careful about this. To the person posting the Ginga games in the past couple of weeks, all of us appreciate your efforts, but please be more careful about entering in the information. Probably over a third of the games that were put up have the names of the players with reversed colors. I know this because I compare them with the game scores posted on the official Ginga Sen website. Okay, we can get started. This game was between Kubota and Goda in the 19th Ginga tournament played on April 7th, 2010. Kubota, playing black, is a furibisha player with a reputation for going his own way in the openings. Goda is an ibisha player and former title holder, having won the Oi, Kisei, Kyo, and Osho titles before. When he was only a 4-dan in 1992, he challenged Tanigawa for both his Kisei and Oi title. He lost the Kisei match but won the Oi title, making him the first 4-dan to win a major title. What made this feat particularly impressive was at that time, Tanigawa was arguably the first or second strongest player. What I liked about this game was the way Goda conducted both his attack and defense, especially where he used Aji in order to build his attack. Around this time, some players were experimenting with this move to get the bishop exchange furibisha openings. It isn't too early to do this as the hole on 2-2 can't be exploited. If black drops the bishop there, then simply 3-3 bishop, and after the exchange, black just lost time. So he played 6-6 pawn, preventing white from playing 8-5 and exchanging his rook pawn. This indicates that 6-8 rook might be coming next, so Goda has to get his silver to 5-3 in order to prevent the pawn exchange. Black transposed into a Tateishi setup. This is a hybrid opening that will end up resembling an Ishida. This pawn also prevents white from developing his right-hand knight. Instead of 9-4 pawn, another way of playing is just to drop the bishop on 3-3 to prevent the rook from achieving his desired rook 6-6 or rook 7-6 setup. Sometimes it's hard to get the knight into play on the edge like this due to counterplay against it, and that it also weakens the 7th file where black wants to play. But 9-6 pawn hasn't been played yet, so there'll be enough time for white to get in 8-5 pawn and resolve issues with the knight. Okay, now if 7-3 rook promote, then just 7-2 rook. And if 8-3 dragon, then bishop takes knight. This is very good for white. If he takes the rook, okay, messing up the shape. Now because he has a rook in hand, he can do an edge attack. Very good for white. So in the game he played 8-8 silver. And now 8-7 pawn promote is possible, giving white a slight advantage. In the game he played 6-2 gold, which is also good. And now if he promotes the rook on 7-1, just 7-2 rook. This is good for white. So in the game he played 4-8 king. This gains a pawn, but means that later white will be able to use pawns to attack the third file. This is a useful move, hemming in the rook and also making opportunities to play a 7-6 pawn promote later. A threatening 9-5 pawn. White needs to take care of his knight. And he does this by making counter threats against the rook. If the rook takes, then 7-3 gold. This is good for white. So in the game he played 9-4 pawn. The gold can support a pawn anchor on 7-1. A 5-2 gold was also possible. Goda now played a series of moves that created a lot of aji before dropping the rook. Forcing the gold out of play. Opening up threats against the head of the king. These last two moves make the rook drop in black's camp come in with much more force than if they weren't included. We can start to see the outlines of third file attack in conjunction with move 58 where white played 3-6 pawn. This helps get white's silver into play and also makes it possible for a pawn anchor on 6-1. A threatening 5-5 bishop and 5-3 knight. He took the silver, which was an inaccuracy. Instead of that, 5-3 knight was very strong, giving white a large advantage. So he took the pawn. Okay, pawn anchored gold. Now if he tries to skewer the bishop and gold with a lance drop on 6-8, winning for white. Instead of that, 6-3 pawn was much better, making things unclear. In the game, he played 5-8 silver drop. Okay, defending the lance and king while threatening 5-4 knight. Okay, getting out of the way of the fork and even further from black's rook. Another attack and defensive move. One of the downsides of the pawn-anchored gold is that it can be attacked with the lance, as there's no blocking it with the pawn due to the Nihu rule. And now 5-3 gold was stronger than what white played in the game. He did 5-2 gold, which is an inaccuracy. And now if 6-4 pawn, this is unclear. In the game, Kubota took the pawn, calmly making the king as safe as possible before attacking. This is also a good example of a constructive waiting move. It does pass the ball to black, but can he do anything with it? Now if 3-2 bishop promotes, threatening 4-1 silver, now white has a number of options. He can play 4-3 bishop, attacking and defending at the same time. 3-1 pawn, just to anticipate 4-1 silver. Also 4-5 pawn. All of these are good for white. If 7-6 bishop, good for white. And now if he takes the gold, this is a severe attack. In the game he played 5-2 token. 4-6 bishop, returning some material in order to end black's play. If black takes the gold, he's going to lose his semi. Okay, if king takes, the horse can't be recaptured because of mate. So 4-8 king. And this is winning for white. The pincer attack. Instead of king takes, if silver takes, then just 2-5 knight. And if knight takes, he gets mated. So instead of 4-1 token in the game, he took the bishop. And then now there's this check. And then no more attack. Continuing to push black back. Look how miserable the gold is on 8-7. Attack and defense. If silver takes, either 6-5 knight now is good, or a 3-6 lance. If the king takes, he's going to get mated. If 2-8 king, then just take the gold, winning for white. In the game, he played 4-7 silver. This puts pressure on 5-8 before black can get in 7-9 pawn to cut off the rook, opening up another line of attack. 4-6 pawn next is severe. And after this, black resigned. If silver takes, just winning for white. Looking at this final diagram, the game looked extremely one-sided. This game was a wonderful example of balancing attack and defense and the use of aji in building up an attack. Thank you for joining me today. Any questions or comments can be left down below. If you learned something from this, please give the video a like. Remember to subscribe and let others know about this channel. If you'd like to further support the channel with donations, you can do so by clicking on the Streamlabs link in the description. Donations are not necessary but are always welcome. I'll see you guys later. Bye.